Lots of Hellions and Reapers on the way for both sides, and the command center is going down for both players on the low ground. Now, this is where things can get quite dicey with the Reapers and Hellions out on the map and more Reapers and Hellions queuing up. An extra Reaper, though, for Heromarine, so he's actually getting very high. If Keen overextends here, he could get trapped.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be careful, but obviously this is even numbers, so this is still a fight that Keen can take and get out of there. I love how crazy these guys are. They're always on the edge, right? They're like, oh, so I feel like I can get one more hit off and potentially pick up this unit. We're like, no, go home. You're fighting against the same amount of units on your opponent's side of the map. This can never go well.
We'll get the Hellions, the Reapers coming in here for Heromarine. He's going to be the one starting the engagement. That's a good position for Heromarine.
Wow.
Keen a little bit too slow to finish focus firing down those units, and 2 Reapers and a Hellion survive.
It's so important that command center just finished up their pick. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to complete that CC without sacrificing 4 or 5 more SCVs, or you just have to wait. This is obviously not over yet. Heromarine wants more. It's so funny because that was an even battle as well, but the engagement was just so much better for Heromarine as he's now able to do quite a bit of damage. 5 SCVs go down already.
Nice, saves the units as well. And that depot even did get halted. Very nicely done. Only now does that orbital command center start, because it was, of course, protecting the SCV that had loaded into it. Trying to get a little bit of chase down damage here is Keen.
Wow.
Heromarine turns around. Oh!
Micro, well done. Sure, he lost the Reaper in the end there, but it felt like everything was one hit away from dying.
Oh, and he's sending another Banshee out down the south side.
Cyclones, Vikings, 2 Ravens. I mean, that's 2 SCVs, and that's all he's gonna get.
It's exactly what you said, Kev. 2 SCVs at most. The Banshee miraculously escapes on 4 hit points, and the push is moving forward, but this is so ballsy from Keen. Look at that army. You cannot commit with that force unless you pull the units way out of position.
But what if he just sieges up very far away, keeps Heromarine busy, and then it's about the Banshee in the main base? I think this is so much more about the Banshees than it is about this push, right?
Yeah, he can't
maybe
commit with
Stim.
it.
He might get in range of Stim there.
Actually, that is pretty nice. Indeed is going to start picking away at this. There are Vikings out though, so Heromarine can push back those that air vision whenever he wants to. Oh, the Banshee's there, coming in now.
Wow.
That is starting to do some damage. Heromarines just going to try and collapse on top of this.
Yep, he's going to use Interference Matrix on one of these tanks. Actually, not the most beautiful engagement here by Heromarine. I feel like he ate a lot of shots. I don't think that's... Okay, finally that is going to be enough, but there's still 3 Marines. This was not as clean of a trade as it should have been for Heromarine.
Yeah.
And obviously in the main base, he lost a lot of SCVs to that Banshee.
And it's still there alive. Finally is going to be going down in a moment.
Wow.
These Vikings having to lift back off, and they will finally, of course, shut that down. But at the end of that, Heromarines economy lead, not nearly as big as it was before. Almost identical workers. His 3rd orbital is finished, so he can rebuild and get those mules going a little bit quicker. But Keen definitely brings us back a lot closer to even in this match.
Yep.
+2 already on the way here for Heromarine on the attack. Doesn't have +2 armor just yet. Army supplies in the lead for Keen. He's up in the siege tank count.
Love that Keen is actually pushing out while he's up a base, because this is the best way that Keen could ever hide the fact he's already mining of 4 bases, which is nuts considering how this game opened. Oh my goodness.
Very ballsy push. Heromarine, is he going to be in position? He's got a few Marines and tanks, but they're not quite there.
And the E-base. The E-base are on the right side as well, and that's very, very painful. If you lose those, that's the only thing that Heromarine still had going for himself in this game.
Oh,
okay, that's the Raven.
Matrix shuts down Heromarines Raven, and that's going to buy him all the time he needs. The +2 armor's being denied. He needs to click on that +2 weapons, and that'll make it all worth it here for Keen.
The Marines are stuck. Now the Marines are going for it. He really wants to get that eBay, and he will succeed in getting it. That means no 2-2 upgrades. Sure, Heromarine cleans all of this up, but don't forget about the economic advantage that Keen has been creating for himself. 4 bases, 4 orbital commands, no, 3 orbital commands, 1 planetary fortress, but still, he's going to be able to mine 4 mineral lines. Yeah, sick plays by Keen, man. He really turned this game around.
Keen now adding 2 more starports, and that's what I love to see. Very curious to see how many Vikings he goes to before adding in things like Liberators. Heromarine still trying to just fight for any little bit of map control. He hasn't been able to put any pressure on, no drops, no Liberators, no sort of harassment.
No.
Keen's still controlling this map.
Ever since Heromarine was active with those Hellions and the Reapers, he hasn't been on the other side of the map. I mean, he moved out once, I think, with the 1 or 2 Cyclones that he had, but that's it. Other than that, he's been pinned at home, while Keen has been expanding and being aggressive at the same time. And once again, considering how this game started, that is incredibly impressive by Keen.
Heromarine wants to go towards Liberators to add on to this army. For that, of course, anti-ground. But the Raven Viking additions for Keen make me think he's much better prepared for a late-game air war. Especially with this style, Kev, right? I mean, you're committing so much to Ravens, spellcasters, air units. This isn't a fast-moving army. It's a slow rotation we see here. As you said, you just keep going around, applying pressure, and look for when the angle presents itself. Here we go, the Vikings and Ravens coming forward there. And Keen can use Interference Matrix. Whenever there's only a few tanks covering an edge, he can just shut those tanks down. He's going to move forward here. Heromarine dives, but a nice counter Interference Matrix from Keen lands on the single Raven of Heromarine. Heromarine has the Viking advantage, though. He gets those tank sieged on the north side and smashes through that army. Keen loses the air war and loses his entire tank count.
I think Keen thought that that wasn't the start of the battle yet. I think he thought he was still safe outside of range of tanks. Then suddenly there were tanks from the south side already shooting. He's like, well, maybe I can still force this fight. And all the forces from Heromarine came from the east side as well. And that was simply way too much to deal with it. That's once again, TVT is a matchup that does allow comebacks just because defensively you're so freaking strong in fight. I like Heromarine's composition a lot better. And Kairos Junction is not really that big of a map, right? It's really not that hard for tanks and liberators to get to the other side of the map. Look at this. And now you can have 42 Marines, but what are you going to do? Stim into 9 tanks?
Yeah, these Vikings come forward doing some big damage. The anti-armor missile was down so much earlier for Heromarine. The Libs taking out those siege tanks as well, and that allows these tanks to shut the planetary fortress down. Keen's mass repair is to no avail. That base is going to fall.
Yep, it's too many tanks wailing away at that planetary, so it will go down, and these Liberators are really paying off in a big way. Heromarine is losing the Viking war, though, so now he's going to be careful, because that obviously means that these Liberators are very exposed, but I think it's safe to say they've already paid for themselves.
Absolutely. Heromarine with a more traditional army composition. Keen was looking for that slow efficiency of the Ravens.
The Marines from the right side, though.
Whoa, that's a big flank. The tanks aren't ready just yet. And then spread is insane.
That's massive. Wow. Keen, that was beautiful. What a sexy engagement right there. He's going to clean up the last 2 tanks on the south side of this battle as well. That was awesome. Beautiful engagement.
He hit that so well for so long, Kev. I mean, we didn't even see it coming until the last moment. So it was like, whoa, there's 60 Marines on the right flank. Neither player's trying to harass. We haven't seen drops. We haven't seen Liberators because the players are just focusing on winning this frontal fight. They know just having a few more Vikings, a few more tanks in the right position can be huge. But Keen, using this positioning once more, is going to get a very nice siege up location. He's going to dive forward, Kevin. Goes right on top of the planetary. I think that might be a little bit too much. He does pull back. Heromarine's going to try to punish him.
Yeah, but his Marines are in a pretty awful position. There were 4 tanks there. Tanks sieged up very far in the back as well. But those tanks were untouchable. They were never going to fall. And Heromarine, I think he made a brilliant switch back into Marines because he was a maxed out Terran with only 12 Marines. But he always had that option there. He had the barracks, he had the upgrades. So he was able to go back into Marines. I thought it was brilliant and he definitely caught Keen off guard. But that fight didn't go that well for Heromarine.
Dropping a few more scans than Heromarine here with this aggressive positioning, trying to find an angle. Big anti-armor missile lands. And that's, of course, going to dissuade Heromarine from taking a fight for the next few seconds. Heromarine got to be very careful here. His Marines are in tank range. A big volley lands. He's going to take the air fight. He feels confident that the anti-armor missiles are huge for Keen there. I think Keen might finally win his first air battle of this game. His Viking count managing to do so much bonus damage that the extra Liberators come in. Heromarine says, I am confident, and once again survives with the 1 Viking advantage.
Yeah. I actually really felt that should have been a convincing air victory for Keen, but great job there by Heromarine. Obviously the Liberators soaked up a couple shots, but at the same time they pushed the tanks away, and that was obviously the most important thing. They're gonna siege up on top of it one more time. Interference Matrix being casted on this Liberator, but Heromarine is taking phenomenal fights here in the middle of the map.
Those Liberators being shut down by the Ravens. And finally, the Vikings do win for a second, but Heromarine's rally should be able to take over. Those Marines trying to counterattack for Keen. Are they going to find a mineral line?
Yep, that's an orbital as well, obviously, so you don't have to worry about a planetary here. A couple of SCVs will go down, but Heromarine had quite a bit of money in the bank. Oh, that's risky. There's no missed turrets in the main, though. So So these Marines, they could potentially get something done, but it's safe to say those medevacs will absolutely go down, and Heromarine is not stopping in the middle of the map. What a sick game.
Heromarine defending his base while pushing the front at the same time. He is not going to be perturbed. He starts to push forward. The Vikings taking down a few of those. Keen manages to hold on to his central base, yet once again, as the dust settles, Luca di Supply.
This base in the middle really seemed to cause so much headache for Keen. I think if he would have never taken this base, he would have had a much better time in this game overall.
Yeah, it's been such a hard position to defend. That siege tank does come forward. I guess the high-sec auto-tracking upgrade has not been upgraded there. The Planetary not able to match the siege tank's range. We do see the Liberators, Vikings, Ravens coming forward through the center.
These armies are getting massive. Keen is ahead in army supply right now.
Advantage, I think, for Heromarine right now. So he's actually gone back to the Marine-heavy style a little bit.
Does Keen has advanced ballistics as well? No, right? I don't think he has advanced.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he does. He definitely made the fusion core.
Okay, no, they do have it. They both have it. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I love that the SCV count has gone down. Heromarine managed to go for it. I mean, since the economies are hurting at this point, they also know that the next battle could be the last one, because at this point, neither player really has the economy to rebuild if they take a disastrous fight.
Yeah, I feel like Keen has identified just how scary this army is in the open. He realizes he needs to slow this down. He's got the tank advantage right now, and he's got a pretty good air army. I'm not sure who's ahead in that air count. And, ooh, both Viking flowers there. You know, there's a couple of Vikings ahead for Heromarine right now. Is it going to make up for the Ravens? I don't know if it's going to be enough. Those Ravens landing anti-armor missiles, but the Viking advantage just so healthy for Heromarine. And once again, it just his ability to stick on massive Viking wins him another air battle. His commitment to the skies, really the secret to why he's been winning these positional battles. He's going to go for a drop on the tanks. Marine bombs, let's go!
Whoa, that's a lot of friendly fire there. Keen not paying attention perhaps for a split moment, because he lost a few more, I think, there than he should have had. But he's still in range of that orbital. It really seems that the lesson here is don't take that middle base. But that was a massive victory for Heromarine. Keen started that battle with 13 Vikings. All of them went down. Heromarine survived. He started with 19, I believe, and he left with like 11. So I'll have to walk through right now. Well, okay, maybe
he's got the Marine advantage. Keen, you can't take that fight. There's way too much there for Heromarine. And exactly what I was talking about, a command center, about 20 SCVs in the open. And that is brutal. Keen losing such an important piece of his economy. He was stretched too thin. He's got a base in the top right.
And it's for nothing, Pick. I think that's the biggest deal. This is not something that costed Heromarine anything at all. He was just able to get those Marines to the left bottom side, picked up the base, and he didn't even pay the price for it. He lost nothing in return.
Yeah, all the Marines are still alive, ready to fight another day. And every time, I think Heromarine with this Marine superiority just needs to keep looking for the mobility. He cannot rush into this tank count. If he catches Keen on siege, then he can jump forward. And you can see he's been looking for that with the libs this entire time. And anti-armor missile lands again, but these Ravens have just not been paying off for Keen. The superior Viking count doing wonders for Heromarine. With a stim forward, did kill 1 or 2 Vikings, but Heromarine maintains the advantage.
He just wins every freaking Viking fight. Now the Marines are going to help out, and Heromarine will bleed a few more Vikings. I do think Heromarine overshot a little bit on those Ravens. It was like 18 Vikings volleying at a single Raven. It's like, okay, that's quite a bit of overkill. But once again, as long as Heromarine keeps control of those skies, his tanks are going to keep him safe.
Look at the spread of Heromarine's army. He is just splitting up this huge army. If Keen moves into that battle line, he will be destroyed. Heromarine flanking up here into the north-hand side. Marine stimming forward. That orbital's going to go down. Keen is in desperation town. He's loaded up 5 medevacs. He's going to try and boost into the main base. This is his last-ditch effort. And Heromarine snaps his fingers and says, I'm a wizard. Freezes them momentarily. And then does, of course, have his production rerouted. His Marine stimming back. There's no tanks here. There's no way for Keen to entrench this position.
I have no idea how not a single medevac went down there. I felt like 3 of them were burning in the skies already, but Heromarine has the numbers to deal with this. It's not the prettiest engagement there for Heromarine, but it also means that all of these units for Keen are stuck. He's not going to get them out of there, and he doesn't have the money to rebuild all of this. The supplies do not lie in this case. Keen with only 87 supply left. Heromarine turned this game back around. It looked dicey for a while, but what a performance.
Yeah, the air battles. I mean, really, if you're playing front-on engagement in StarCraft, that's what it comes down to. Who can control the skies and leverage your superior range on those siege tanks, on those Liberators? Heromarine has done it time and again. And now he says, I've got enough, let's finish this. Comes in from all sides. A gigantic arc of Marines, overwhelming, grinding Keen's army into the dust. And, yeah, Gabe is up in 1-1 now.